Alright, so I usually start this video with saying you're probably here because you lost 50-50, but Bronya is broken, so you're probably here because you want to build her, or brush up on her info, brush up on what the Lightcones you want to use, relics, and since she's going to see a lot more value, practically skyrocket her value with the upcoming characters, I'm sure a lot of people want to know how to build her, so I can't really say you're here because you lost your 50-50, which you still might be, but again, even if you did and you're upset about it, Bronya is broken, probably one of the best options you could have got, so don't worry, I'm going to show you how to build her. Anyway, this video is going to be like my other build guides going over her kit, Eidolons, best Lightcones, best relics, and relic stats. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Before I get into the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for more videos like this because I do have a ton of guides, a lot more to come in the future along with other types of videos, and let's get straight into it. So Bronya is a wind character following the path of harmony. Her basic attack deals wind damage equal to 100% of Bronya's attack to a single enemy. Her skill dispels a debuff from a single ally, allows them to immediately take action, and increases their damage by 66% for one turn. So already from reading that, you could see this skill is broken. Not only does it give you a debuff cleanse, it gives you a immediate action, so practically getting double the DPS amount in that turn. And not only that, whoever you do use the skill on, not only are they getting an extra turn, they also get a 66% damage increase, which is really good. When the skill is used on Bronya herself, she cannot immediately take action again. For her ultimate, increases the attack of all allies by 55%, and increases their crit damage equal to 16% of Bronya's crit damage plus 20% for 2 turns. So a team-wide attack percent increase by 55%, which is a pretty hefty amount, and a team-wide crit damage bonus based on her own crit damage plus 20 for 2 whole turns. So this is a nice bonus if you are running a team that has maybe multiple DPSs or some other character. You're doing something like the Unlimited Blade Works team where you have Sparkle, Bronya, and someone else. It can be beneficial there, but the crit damage bonus is really good and the attack percent bonus is also very good. Her talent, after using her basic attack, Bronya's next action will be advanced forward by 30%. For her technique, after using Bronya's technique, at the start of the next battle, all allies' attack increases by 15% for 2 turns. Moving on to her bonus traces, first one, when Bronya is on the field, all allies deal 10% more damage, so just her being active on the field gives everyone 10% more damage. Second one, at the start of the battle, all allies' defense increases by 20% for 2 turns. So for the first 2 turns, you have a 20% defense increase, and for the third one, the crit rate for the basic attack increases to 100%. Bronya is a harmony support, so she isn't really considered with doing damage, but at the times where you might need to use her basic attack, it is a guaranteed crit, and since you are building her with about the crit damage to get better scaling off the ultimate, this can actually hit pretty hard. I'm not saying crazy hard, I'm still just kind of saying 10-20k, but it's just nice damage to have if you have to use it. Moving on to her Eidolons. Her first Eidolon, when using skill, there is a 50% fixed chance of recovering 1 skill point. This effect has a 1-turn cooldown. So when you do have that active, you are not only playing a game that is 50-50 for summons, 50-50 for other things, you now have a 50-50 in your Bronya recovering a skill point. So have fun with that. Her second Eidolon, when using the skill, the target ally's speed increases by 30% after taking action, lasting for 1 turn. Her fourth Eidolon, after an ally other than Bronya uses a basic attack on an enemy with wind weakness, Bronya immediately launches a follow-up attack on the target, dealing wind damage equal to 80% of Bronya's basic attack damage. This effect can only be triggered 1 time per turn. Sadly, as it says, it just works with basic attacks, so the extra damage is just nice to have, but it's nothing crazy. And for her final Eidolon, the duration of the damage boost effect placed by the skill on the target ally increases by 1 turn. So if you remember, the skill bonus did last for 1 turn. Now with the E6, it does last for 2 turns. Moving on to her best Lightcones. The best one for her is actually her own signature Lightcone. What it does is increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 10% and regenerates 1 skill point when the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally. This effect can be triggered once after every 2 uses of the wearer's ultimate. When the wearer uses their skill, the next ally taking action except the wearer deals 30% more damage for 1 turn. So this Lightcone giving her energy regeneration rate, so you do get some more using the skill, so you can get more for the ultimate, helping with uptime. After every 2 uses of the ultimate, you do get a skill point back. So what that means is the first time you use it, you get a skill point back, the second time you won't, and then the third time you do, then the fourth time you don't, fifth time you do, and so on and so forth. So it can sort of help in skill point times where you need it. And the last part's really good because you're using the skill on someone that's going to give them an immediate action anyways. So now they're dealing more damage from her skill bonus effect and now even more from this Lightcone. So this Lightcone is extremely good. Another really good option is the 4-star past and future. Since it's a 4-star, I'm going to display it as 5. What it does is when the wearer uses the skill, the next ally taking action except the wearer deals 32% increased damage for 1 turn. Just like as I mentioned for the last part of her signature one, when you pop her skill, the person you use it on is the next one going because of the immediate action. So now they're dealing even more increased damage, so this Lightcone is also very good. Another good option on her is actually Dance Dance Dance, 4-star, so S5. What it does is when the wearer uses their ultimate, all allies' actions are advanced forward by 24%. So not giving a supportive buff to anyone sadly besides the action forward, this can be really good though, because it can obviously push them above any enemies attacking. So use that proper times and used in attuned proper speed, it can be really powerful. And the last option, sadly, I'm not going to really get much into it. It's a 4-star, so S5, and it is actually the one with Asta on it. Can't remember the name at the top of my head for some reason. But what it does is after entering battle, if an ally deals the same damage type as the wearer, damage dealt increases by 24%. So as I did say, sadly, you are going to have to be the same type as Bronya, so the character you are wanting to buff has to be Wind. So this Lightcone is only really good if you're pairing it with someone like Blade, or if you're based and for some reason have Wind Dawning built, and you for some reason use them to this day. 1, your base is hell for that. Let me know, please. I will actually heart your comment. And 2, yeah, it'd be pretty good for that. But if there are going to eventually be more Wind characters coming that are good, and they work well with Bronya, then this Lightcone becomes even more powerful. But for now, mainly just for characters that are with Wind. So before getting into too much detail about the Relics, I'm going to sort of give a brief definition of the speed stuff that I'm sort of going to be mentioning while talking about the Relics. So there are technically 3 ways you can build Bronya for speed. 2 optimal ways, and 1 other way is if you just don't care. 1 is having 1 to 2 speed lower than your carry. Pretty much for that, your main DPS gets to go. They get to do their attacks, and then it's going to be Bronya's turn next because she only has 1 to 2 speed less. And then with that, you get to pull your DPS back, giving them buffs, and get to attack again, getting a nice DPS output. And the other way is actually getting 160 or higher speed. This pretty much makes it to where your Bronya can get as many turns as possible without really needing that much speed on your main DPS. So pretty much Bronya will just pull the DPS towards them because of the 100% action. Also the damage bonuses, so getting a nice DPS output from that. And again, then you don't really have to worry about speed on your main DPS. And the option that I said for number 3 is if you just don't care. My personal recommendation is if you just don't care, just to get them to breakpoint at least. So just make sure your Bronya has at least 134 speed. Because if you really don't care, just having breakpoint speed is going to be pretty helpful. Just so you can get the middle ground. Nothing too optimal, but if you don't care enough, then oh well. Everyone to their own opinion, I guess. Now moving on to her best relics. For the most part, any part is going to mainly have the 2-piece of the hacker space, mainly for the speed boost that it gives by 6%. So that's going to be really nice, and you're mainly going to combine that with something that is sort of for survivability. So be it the max HP one, or be it the one that reduces damage. 2-piece and 2-piece on those would be great. You could also do 4-piece hacker space, but as I did mention previously about the speed stuff, it can sort of mess it up. So if you do this, you obviously want to tune it properly. But if you don't care about it and you still just want the bonus, then yeah, and you don't really care about the synergy like that, then it's fine. But running 2-piece of this and one of the 2-piece for survivability is usually the better option. You can also do 4-piece on Musketeers because 2-piece attack, whatever, so the times you have to do basic attack, I guess it helps. But mainly because the 4-piece does increase speed by 6%. It is literally just a 2-piece of hacker space, so you'd be better off with that. But if you're really down bad and you only have these, then it is an option. Another option you actually can do is the 4-piece of the Wind set. The 2-piece increasing wind damage, again, she isn't a DPS, so it doesn't really matter. But the 4-piece using the ultimate gives Bronya a 25% action forward. So that can help with getting another skill off. Getting another skill off means your DPS gets another turn. DPS getting another turn means your damage will be higher for that turn. So using it at right times, again, can be really good. But again, it would mainly depend on how tuned your team is when it comes to speed. Since sometimes it can be really beneficial, sometimes it can be really detrimental. So definitely take this with your own teams in mind. For planet ornaments, her best one is going to be Broken Keel. With the 10% effect res it gives, and when you do have 30% or higher effect res, giving everyone 10% crit damage is really good. Again, free 10% crit damage for everyone, including herself, so the scaling on her ultimate goes even higher. Another good option is actually the Ageless set. Giving max HP by 12% is nice, since it is a survivability stat, and getting 120 speed or higher gives you a 8% increase to all allies attack, so that's also really nice. 120 speed can usually, for the most part, is really easy, but if you are doing the 1/2 less speed than your hyper carry, and if they are someone that isn't at breakpoint speed, then it can be a bit of an issue, but if it's not, then you're good to go. And then just like that one Lightcone I talked about, another one you can do is Penacony. The energy regeneration rate it provides is nice, little helpful bonus, and increasing the damage by 10% for all other allies that are the same type as the wearer is nice, but again, that only works for wind characters, so I don't really get too much into that. For the main stats, For the body, you do want crit damage. For the feet, you want speed. Again, that sort of might change depending on what sort of 1 to 2 speed below carry you are doing. But for the most part, usually it is recommended to have you pairing someone that has a DPS that is at breakpoint speed. So someone that might be 135, 136 speed, and some Bronya at least 134 because breakpoint is recommended on her anyways. So for the most part, feet speed will be the best. For the orb, you want to do HP or defense percent for the survivability, and for the link grub, you want energy regeneration rate. For the substats, you do want to have speed until you at least hit the breakpoint, or if you are doing the 160 speed, you want to get enough speed before that is possible. Past that, getting a good amount of crit damage is really nice. Aim to have around 190%, that will be pretty good to suffice. If you are running Broken Kill, definitely make sure you do have 30% so you can actually get the bonus on the crit damage. And then anything past that is just your HP, defense, survivability. And yeah, that is practically it for the Bronya build guide. Again, Bronya has been pretty broken throughout the entire game's lifespan. She has sort of seen less value thanks to Sparkle practically just being better in most cases. There are some cases where Bronya is still better, something like Blade or Jinglu. And now with some characters coming out, it does seem to be that Bronya's value is higher on those teams compared to Sparkle. So as the game does progress, it seems like Bronya's value is indeed increasing once again. So again, if you lost 50-50 to her, don't be that bad because again, she's really, really good. So yeah, I hope you guys found the video helpful. Let me know if you did. Again, if you built Win Daneng and you still use them, you are based, let me know, please. I need more base people to comment on the channel. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.